Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to react to a TikTok. Supposedly, this dude's a doctor making some good money and he's broke. All right, so let's go ahead and watch and see what we can learn. So let's start from the very beginning.
I'm 41 years old. I went to school for 8 years and paid back 80 grand in student loans to become a physical therapist with a doctoral degree. I've been making six figures for 12 years now, long time, whole boatload of money. I am broke.
Uh-oh. It's funny. I haven't really made that much money for like definitely not 12 years. If I had like six figures for 12 years, that would have been pretty sweet, but I never made that money, but I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Guy's probably a victim of the bank because that's who the bank's most primary target is, unfortunately. It's not people who don't have money, it's people who have money like this guy, and then, they don't know how to manage it that well, okay? Alright, let's go ahead and watch.
Our mortgage, we're lucky enough to own a home. Our mortgage is not an overtly huge percentage of our income. We're not big spenders. We don't even spend on vacations because another piece of privilege is I married into a family that actually has a vacation home on a beach or near a beach.
Did he just say he had a sugar mama? I admire this man. So let's keep watching.
It's very nice. We don't pay to stay there. We're not big spenders. We drive two used cars. And the cost of living has nearly forced us to sell our house and move in with my mother-in-law, I guess. I don't know. I didn't go to school for as long as I did and pay back 80 grand in student loans so that I could be broke. This economy is horseshit. It's absolute horseshit. Every day I wake up, I seethe with anger. I seethe with anger. And I work in home health and I drive through the countryside and I see gorgeous, 3, 4, 5,000 square foot houses. They're being built brand new and they're being built by boomers.
Uh-oh. I think he must so if he's 41, he's actually a millennial. He's actually a millennial, okay. Um, I don't know if this is a boomer versus millennial rant. Now, I actually like baby boomers, believe it or not. Now, I don't like all of them, but baby boomers for some reason are much more receptive to me than, let's say, Gen Z. Like every time I talk to Gen Z, I get a lot of I'm a boomer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what you're talking about, boomer. Like, oh man, this is embarrassing. And something that I think we should also highlight is that if it's hard for him and he's got a sugar mama and he's making good money, think how hard it is for like the average person. Like whenever I go to like the supermarket, like Publix, and I look at these people and I'm like, how do you all survive? Does anyone else think that? Like, what do you what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you all survive. And it's like the minimum amount, like kind of like in California, like, oh, you need to be like making $300,000 to survive. In today's economy, if you're not making that good money, like it's just hard to survive, right? Whereas back in the day, minimum wage, like you could survive off of that.
Yeah. Because nobody who's 41 years old right now has $500,000, 750 grand to spend on a brand new house. The average American household income is like 75 grand. The average American income for a household needed to buy a house is around 125 grand.
I don't know why he's so mad though, because like he can afford it if he's making good money and he's got a sugar mama. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is just a simple case of money mismanagement, especially if he's not like going on vacations and his mortgage is pretty low. Why not use velocity banking to chunk down that mortgage, sir? Unless you have other debts, and then if you have other debts, then you can do that with the other debts first, right?
I, it's insanity. The only reason, get this, the only reason that I actually have been prevented from selling our house is because of TikTok. I have another account with, it's coming up on 190,000 followers. My wife and I randomly had a video get 32 million views. And overnight, we were content creators. And at that moment, it was an absolute life preserver.
So is he still broke even with the 32 million views on TikTok? Like is he saying that he's still literally broke with that huge social media following? That's crazy if that's true.
We started making money from our content. TikTok has kept us, and we do monetize on YouTube as well, but not nearly to the degree of TikTok. TikTok has kept me from having to sell my house. If you'd have fucking told me when I was in school, when I was at the classroom building downtown, studying at midnight and probably into the early morning for a test the next day or the day after that, that, hey, one day, the only reason you won't have to sell your house because of the cost of living is because of this social media app that you're going to make videos on.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a budget. Like what's his income? What's him and his wife's income if his wife's working? And also like what's his mortgage payment? He hasn't said the mortgage payment yet. So maybe it's just me, but I'm hearing like a fountain in the background. What if he's like paying, like I know he says like it's not a lot, and what state is he in? Did he say South Carolina? I can't remember. But if he's in like a low cost state like not New York or California, I feel like this is just a simple case of money mismanagement. And the TikTok was a band-aid and it didn't solve the source of the problem, right?
And people are going to watch them. And that's the only reason you won't have to sell your house. And I haven't talked about any of this directly to this point because I guess the tariffs today doing what they're doing to the stock market. And on top of that, China pushing the pause button on the TikTok deal because of the tariffs against the Chinese, the nation of China. It put me over the edge today. So I really hate it here. I really hate it here. And again, let me make sure you guys understand. I'm a straight white, raised in church guy. You know, people like me run the world. I get that. There's a whole lot of privilege behind what I'm saying, but wow. What a shitty way for this all to have turned out. If you'd have told 18-year-old me, yeah, you're going to get a doctorate in the healthcare field. You're going to be a physical therapist. You're going to help a lot of sick people get well. Oh, by the way, by the time you're 41, you won't be able to fix your own car. I had to borrow money from my parents last fall when a hurricane came 300 miles inland and it damaged my roof. I did not have the money to pay the insurance premium so that my house could be repaired. And then my car needed a lot of work done to it. Don't have the money for that. My dad just so happens to be, another piece of privilege, just so happens to be a brilliant mechanic. And he fixed it. And, I'm going to pay him back for the parts, but he's saying, don't worry about paying me back for the labor. Probably $1,000 in labor. It's roughly $1,500 to fix my car, which I use for work.
You know what's funny? If this guy's making that good money, he could have probably got a lot of credit, right? Like if you had $600,000 in lines of credit like I do, that would have been no problem in the velocity banking. I feel like this guy's like a total candidate for velocity banking. Some people are like making minimum wage because I used to make minimum wage or probably less than that too, and I couldn't do it. And but then this guy could probably do it, and he just isn't aware of it.
Yeah. So unless people keep watching our videos on this app, on that other account, we're going to have to sell this motherfucker. Also, I have high cholesterol, and I got put on 10 milligrams of rosuvastatin, which has cut my LDL cholesterol in half, thank God, because I don't want to die of a stroke in my 50s or a heart attack. But I'll just bet the stress of this entire financial situation has contributed to that. But there's no time for that. Got to go back to work. So I don't know. The president signed a 75-day extension because China pushed pause on the deal. I don't know. Yeah, other millennials, you let me know in the comments, man. I know it's not going well. It's not going well. I can't buy my wife a present when I want to. I can't buy my daughter a present when I want to. There's no money. There's no money. Awesome. I'm for.
I got one word response to that because he's so mad about the tariffs. China. I can't even do the impression right. China. There's a video on I think Huffington Post where they got a compilation of the dude saying China. All these 24 million views, and all he says is China.
China, 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 China.
That's my response to this guy. China. All right. Well, all right. Well, that's it for today, folks. So I'll be honest, like I want more numbers into this dude's budget because I just can't like what is selling at his house going to do? I mean, if he goes and finds another house on the market, they're all going to be overinflated, especially if the dude bought it like 12 years ago, right? Um yeah, right. Math ain't mathin'. I agree with that. I hear you. Biden really messed up this economy up. Yeah, that's funny. Because I know that's what he didn't want to hear. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. Cranial Anti Mentorship. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video reaction.